want to do a little teaching on for anyone that might doubt the existence of God. Okay, when you're young, you should have a skeptical mind. You should be very cautious on what you believe in this world because it is a very it's a world that's full of a lot of deception. A lot of people are con artists and they deceive people for money, and you got even TV preachers trying to get wealthy off of good-hearted people. You understand? They use the Bible as a perverted way to make a ton of money, to live in a luxurious mansion, and then they have the nerve to tell you that you can have the life they have by giving them money or whatever. It's just the most insane thing I've ever seen. But, and I'm not going to name the names. I don't feel like getting sued or anything by some of these wealthy TV preachers. But I will never understand for the life of me why you think uh, that Jesus or God is just wanting you to be wealthy and rich, when if you read the Bible, he really doesn't like rich people. Neither do I, because the richer they are, they just create more poor people. How is that? There's only so much money in an economy, and if they got most of it, that means they've created a lot of poor people. And that's exactly what's happened to the United States. The rich have gotten richer, and it's produced and destroyed the middle class. And the middle class is almost gone because of one thing: the greed of the rich. I mean, what man needs billions of dollars of personal wealth? And then they have the nerve to lie and say, well, we create jobs. I'm not talking about the businesses they own or run. I'm talking about their personal wealth. You understand? People like Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, they're wealthy and you want to be like them? No, you don't, because they have created a lot of poverty in the United States and probably throughout the world, because they amass, there's only so much money in an economy, and if they have most of that money, that means there's less money for the rest of us. So they create a lot of poverty in the world. And don't you let anybody fool you into thinking any different, because it's just not true. If there's 100 people in the world and $100 bills in the world, that means each one should get a dollar bill. Well, if one of them's Bill Gates, he's got 90 out of that $100, and that leaves $10 for the rest of us. It's simple economy. It's simple economics. The middle class is almost gone in the United States. Capitalism only works good if you have people with great morals, such as a Christian nation. Capitalism and democracy works great, but the more immoral people become, the worse capitalism becomes on people, and it creates a lot of poor people. And that's exactly what's happening. Greed on Wall Street has created a lot of poverty in America. And pretty soon, I do believe, if you watch a man named Jonathan Cahn out of New Jersey, he's a Messianic Jew that I believe is a true teacher, a true instrument of God. You can look at his videos or buy his book. One of them is called The Harbinger, and the other one talks about, the one you should look is called the Shemitah. Look it up. I guarantee you it's worth it. He's the one that's saying there's going to be an economic collapse, and probably in the fall of this year. And I believe he's going to be right. And it could be a large enough fall. An economic collapse in the United States will have a rippling effect on the rest of the world, just like it did 7 years ago in 2008. This one may lead to a one global currency. And after you have that, that's going to line up with the mark of the beast, where nobody in the world can buy or sell without the mark. Before before that happens, the mark of the beast, you have to have a one world economy, a global economy. And in order for that to happen, you have to have either a one world currency, or you do away with the global currency and you use some sort of other system. It's going to happen sooner or later, but before it happens, it takes place, there has to be a major economic collapse for that to take its place. Nevertheless, getting back to my original teaching here was going to be about if you don't believe in God, okay? And I got off on a little tangent there, it happens, but take it for what it's worth, all that's true. If you don't believe in God, it's very good to have a skeptical and critical mind. You understand? But the danger is having a lot of pride. Having a critical mind with a lot of pride can really lead you down a path of self-destruction. Having a critical mind with a humble spirit is what you should be, because sooner or later you're seeking for the truth, right? So that means truth does exist. Otherwise your search is in vain. Once you find out what the truth is, hold on to it. Don't cast it aside and say, well, that's nonsense. My own pride said I'm not going to fall for that. Be very careful. Have a critical mind, but a humble spirit when you're seeking for the truth. Okay? Jesus Christ is the truth. Okay? I'm beaching it to the punchline, but I just know it. I know that I know that I know. Okay? But you go on your own journey, your own exploration. I'm just trying to help you if you'd like to help. The theories of evolution are garbage. They are. You understand? The reason there's apes and gorillas and orangutans and chimpanzees and then there's humans because God put in the world something that will throw you off and believing in Him, because there can't be any evidence of God in the world. There can't. Otherwise, I'll say it again, you won't need faith. You understand? But there's plenty of science that backs up that the Bible's 100% historically accurate. So here's your dilemma. If archaeologists have come to the conclusion with many, many artifacts that substantiate the historical teachings and findings and like towns and artifacts and all kinds of stuff in the Holy Bible, it supports it to be 100% historically accurate, versus there's no scientific proof that God exists. Look at how silly it is. Only needs a little faith to make the jump from, well, if there's science proves that the Bible is historically accurate, God must exist. That's a little jump of faith. And it makes sense, and it makes sense because it's true. That's the dilemma most atheists cannot get over or answer. If, I'll say it one more time, if the Bible is historically accurate, archaeologists have proven that many, many times. They have thousands and thousands of artifacts. They've uncovered many sections of Jerusalem and the surrounding areas of Israel that prove the Bible to be 100% accurate and all the stories in the Bible. And there's a reason it's all the stories are accurate, because of what? History. Accurate history. Accurate His story. Accurate His story. History is really two words. His story. It is God's story. And only God's story is the one that's the truth, and it's accurate. You understand? It's not a play on words. History is actually two words. His story. That's just another reason to believe. You understand? Anyway, the theory of evolution is it's just garbage. If we're just evolving and it took millions of years to evolve, why have we stopped at man? If your theory of evolution is worth anything, which it's not, why hasn't man evolved into something else? Why am I not evolved into a 10-foot creature with big eyes and I'm green, like a space alien? Is that going to happen next? Why is it stopped at man? Because it's garbage. The theory of evolution is garbage and it's silly. Okay? If your theory of evolution is worth anything, where are all the species? And there had to be thousands upon thousands of species between the monkey and man. Where are they? And each species probably had to have maybe 1 million of it. So there's millions, maybe billions of missing links. Missing. Where are they? Where's the fossils of them? Where's any bones? There is none because it never existed. Evolution is garbage. It truly is garbage. So if it doesn't make sense, delete it. If you want to hold on to it and act like, I'm not going to believe in Jesus, that's a fairy tale for all you handicapped people or whatever you look down on us. Be careful what your pride does to you. You better check your pride, because Satan will lead you down a primrose path of self-destruction if you have a lot of pride. He'll use your pride to do it. You understand? Darwin is a false teacher. His doctrines, his teachings are false teachings. All his work isn't worth the paper it's written on. It's all false doctrines, and it's making you toss back and fro like the seas and the oceans. It makes you an unstable person. I don't know if there's a God. Maybe there's a God. One day you think there's a God, the next day you don't. You have no anchor in your soul. You become a very unstable person. God is a rock. Okay? Stand on his rock. In other words, believe in him. He is real. Do you understand? He truly is. Okay? There's other things that I could tell you too that'll help you. You know, the theories of evolution is garbage. The Big Bang Theory is more closer, I think, to what really took place than anything else. Although they say, well, everything came into being by an explosion. Now, most of us would think that's crazy. How could you form an Earth through an explosion? Look at the complex systems in the world. All the oil, all the water, all the separation of fresh water and salt water, all the mountains, snow, the different seasons, all the different trees, the fruits, the vegetables, the coal in the ground, and the list goes on and on and on and on. And it came throughout an explosion? It would sound crazy. But I think they're close to what really took place. When God spoke, I'm sure there was an explosion. Okay? I don't know what happened when he spoke this, but I guarantee you he spoke and all this came into existence. Okay? It says in the Bible that he made the sun, the moon, the stars on the fourth day. A lot of people think at the beginning of Genesis God said, let there be light. And a lot of people think that's the sun. That's not what happened. The sun was not created until the fourth day. So what does he mean? Let there be light. That was an invisible spiritual thing he said. Let there be light. Let there be truth. Let there be wisdom. Let there be an understanding. Let there be knowledge. And like I said, let there be truth. He did that on the first day. You understand? The sun, moon, and stars were made on the fourth day. You need to reread the Bible if you think he made the sun on the first day. He didn't. Okay? Now, if you think or you've been taught that the moon, the earth, and the galaxies are millions and billions of years old, right? What a bunch of baloney. Here's what you need to ask them. Ask them if the science or the theories or the science in their equations, whatever they're using, like carbon dating, is accurate and true. Why are all scientists, they never come to the same agreement about the age of the earth, the age of the stars, and everything else? If their science is accurate and they're using the same equations and they're real and it's true science, wouldn't they all come to the same conclusion? Wouldn't they say, all the scientists say, well, it's 500 million years old. And every one of them would say, yep, it's 500 million years old. Whatever science they're using, it's faulty. Otherwise, they'd all come to the same conclusion. You understand what I just said? It's all a bunch of baloney. The world is not billions of years old. It's not millions of years old. It's only thousands of years old. You understand? One of the examples, it's a synthetic world. It's a synthetic universe. It's not real. Do you hear what I just said? It's not real. You understand? It's here for a reason, for a purpose. Okay? It's not real. Do you understand? Not the way, and I know what you're thinking. What do you mean it's not real? It is real. No, it's not. It's synthetic. synthetic. That means it's merely created. It's an illusion, so to speak. Do you understand? No, I don't, I don't, of course, I want to say it's real, but reality is a funny word, okay? Everybody has a different sense of reality. Do you realize that there's cannibals in Africa that eat people? We share the same world as them. Do you think you have the same sense of reality as they do? No. Reality is subjective. You understand? But it's the only word I have available. It's not a real universe. It's synthetic. And I'll give you an example. When God made the moon on the fourth day, he didn't make it nice and powdery and then start throwing asteroids at it for the next millions of years. He made it on the fourth day already with asteroid craters in it. Asteroids, it made it look like asteroids hit it all over the moon. You understand? He made it look old. You understand? On the fourth day. Same thing with everything else. The earth, he made it on the fourth day. I'm sorry, the stars and the sun. You understand? On the fourth day. He either did it the way it says in Genesis, or Genesis, everything written in Genesis is a lie. Either he did it on the fourth day, or it's a lie. And if it's a lie, don't even bother reading the rest of the Bible. Don't. You might as well throw it in the trash, because it's garbage. So it's when God said he made everything, the sun, the moon, the stars on the fourth day, either that's true or it's a lie. And I'm here to tell you it's absolutely true. How he did it, your mind cannot comprehend how he did it. It'll never comprehend how he did it. Can you comprehend how God made a man out of dust? Can you comprehend how he made woman out of a rib, out of a man? Never going to happen. You accept it. You accept it by faith. You understand? Faith is saying, even though I don't understand it, I sincerely in my heart believe it. He's God. You understand? One of the examples I like to give is in helping you figure out what a synthetic world is. It's just created. It's not really real. God's sense of reality is far greater than yours, isn't it? Do you know what's going on halfway around the world from where you live? He does. You understand? He's everywhere. Are you? Nope. He's all light. You're not all light. You understand? Anyway, one of the other examples I like to give is I can make antique furniture. I can make brand new furniture and make it look very old. Antique furniture, but it's brand new. That's what I'm saying. He made the earth, the sun, the moon, the stars, and the galaxy to make it look very old. Why did he do that? Because you need faith to believe in God. That's why. He has something opposing, like science. It's opposing God, but it's really not. True science does not oppose God. True science, accurate science. In other words, gravity existed before man discovered it, didn't it? Didn't gravity exist before man discovered it? It had to exist, right? Otherwise we'd fall off the earth. So gravity existed before man knew what it was. The atom existed before man knew what it was. We discover it, but we discover it in God's timing. DNA exists before man discovered DNA, doesn't it? Of course it does. So everything exists before we discover it, correct? There's much more in this world you don't know about, right, that man hasn't discovered it. Okay, but it's in existence right now, and man has not discovered it yet. You understand that? They'll discover things in God's timing. In other words, why didn't we discover DNA? If you say we're around millions of years ago, why didn't we discover DNA millions of years ago? It's because it doesn't make sense, because we were not around millions of years ago. Do you realize the United States has got 340 million people in it? 500 years ago, we had nobody. A few Indians and some pilgrims. 500 years is a very short amount of time compared to millions of years, if your theory is correct. 500 years. Most people, a lot of people can live to be 100 years old. That's only like 5 generations. 500 years ago, there was nobody in this country. Take a good look at this country and all that exists, all the people, all the cities, all the technology from airplanes, supersonic jets, satellite antennas, satellites, the space shuttle, just the list goes on and on and on. Television, internet. 500 years ago, they were sitting around a campfire, apparently eating turkey. Nevertheless, we haven't been around that long. My best guess is the world is around a little less than 6,000 years old, period. If you go by the Jewish calendar, it's around 6,000 years old. It only looks old. You understand? Anyway, this is a 20-minute video. I think I've said enough, but I'll say one more thing. If you watch movies these days, it's crazy. It's so cool how they can make computer graphics in movies. Like some of the movies I love are Steven Spielberg movies. What is it? J.J. Abrams. I like his Star Wars movie he made, and he made a bunch of other stuff. Lost series, I think it was. But anyway, when he put movies together, now they use computer graphics. And what I'm trying to say is it's a synthetic universe that they create, isn't it? They make something in movies that looks real, and it's a different reality than ours. So my question is, if man can form a different reality for the purpose of making entertainment for you, what do you think the creator of man can do? You understand? He made this whole universe. It's none of it. It's not really real. It's not. I know what you're thinking. Of course it's real. When I say it's not real, that's the only word that I can use for you to understand. It is a made up, artificial, synthetic world, universe, for the purpose of us having a place to live to serve God. You understand? And I'm not going to go through all the things that happened from when he created the Garden of Eden, the fall of man, and then Jesus. Thank God Jesus corrected everything. He corrected everything that went wrong in the Garden of Eden. You understand? Death was never supposed to happen. Hell was not. Do you realize in the beginning of the Bible it says God made the heavens and the earth? It didn't even mention hell. Hell was created years later because of what man did. So it was not God's original idea. You understand? But because of what happened in the Garden of Eden, it produced death and not a way to get into heaven. And there was a separation between God and his creation, and Jesus filled that gap. Because what he did on the cross, he reconciled us to God. Not only did he reconcile us, now we're actually his children, and God is our Father. And if you don't know God, I ask you the starting point. I know God. I know him as my Father. He's more of a father than a God. You understand? Don't try to figure out how he made things. Understand why he made things. In other words, an example, don't figure out how he made flowers. Ask why did he make flowers? Because he loves his daughters. And he knew that man was going to screw up and he'd have something beautiful to give to his wife to say he was sorry. That's why. That's a beautiful God. Nevertheless, anyway, I hope that you take to heart some of this. I know it's a lot to take in. It's kind of a long video, but God exists, and he does love you. He really does. And Jesus Christ took your place. That's great love for someone to take your place. Do you understand? The wages of sin is death. Those are God's rules. You can't come to this world and think you're going to make a new reality. God made reality, not you. You understand? God loves you. I hope you love him back by asking his son into your heart before it's too late.